You're not in there now. Hey guys, Corey, Piper, and Joe with you for our Sunday conversations. Got a new mic. Hopefully it picks up our audio a little better. We'll see. So,
Hope Joe doesn't super blast out the speakers.
yeah, I may have to start sitting over there off camera.
It's just
About
like
10 feet away.
a voice actor.
Yeah.
Use a second phone.
My general OCD. Make sure it's playing. Yep, we're good.
Got to do a double check.
All right, so I'll go through some questions. I don't think we really have much else that we really want to talk about. Bring a Friend Week. I'd like to talk about just our first one. So for those that for some reason are seeing this because we shared it and you're coming to Bring a Friend Week, it's our first one that we've done. Generally, we just have more of an open style. You can come in whenever you want. Really wanted to give people a time to start. Some of our workouts can seem unapproachable, for sure, and I think a lot of people don't really understand what scaling means.
Yeah. Well, they see the workout written and they think like, oh, I can't do all of that.
I
can't
do any of that.
Right.
And you know that's the beauty of CrossFit, and you don't really believe what scaling is until you get in and see us as coaches and all the other athletes doing different things.
Same workout, just
Same workout, different things, different weights for their goals. We're constantly, there hasn't been a single workout that I've ever coached that I haven't had to modify for somebody.
Yeah.
And I would say every class.
Yep.
And over years and years of doing that, we've gotten pretty good at it. It's not to say perfect. We had a lady start Friday.
She had a rough time.
She had a rough time.
But we got her dialed in.
Yeah. And she came on the Echo bike. And it's also going to be all partner workouts. That way you can come with your friend or you can set up with somebody else. Obviously know that it can be intimidating. We've talked about it before. I own a CrossFit gym. I've coached thousands of hours. I've taken thousands of classes. When I go out of town, I'm still a little nervous. I wouldn't say intimidated. I'm like, is this gym suck?
Yeah, it's, I guess, more nerves than anything.
Like, you're comfortable going into a McDonald's anywhere, if you're comfortable going into McDonald's, right? It's the same everywhere. CrossFit is very much, depending on, are they your people? Do they coach the way you want? And all we want is for you to give us a chance and see if we're your type of people. We may not be.
No.
That's okay, but give it a shot.
Like, just through the years of coaching, like, I've had people that they are not about me and my shenanigans. Like, they're in there to get work done and they want to be very serious.
And that's not to say you still can't find a fit with us, but
but yeah, you just gotta, it just might be, different class, different time. Maybe Joe's more serious.
You learn to love it.
Or you just grit your teeth through it, which is what I'm sure a lot of people do.
Also, we took out assigned weights this week. So things are going to be percentages or how it's feeling. I toyed with this percentages, really get the point across, because we're going to have people in here, like tomorrow we've got overhead squat. Most of the people that are going to be coming in for Bring a Friend Week have no idea what their overhead squat is or what their capabilities are there. And I'll just say, we know you'll probably be doing dumbbell front squats or PVC squats, or you may just be doing air squats.
Right.
And I at least thought about it, but I think that makes it to where it can be fun for everybody.
Well, and challenging. Like, everyone's going to get a great workout from it.
Yeah. Anytime we've done percentage workouts, honestly, our bigger, stronger people are the most upset about it.
Yeah.
So. It depends. There are some lifts where I'm like, I don't mind this. And then some I'm like, man, that seems like an awful lot.
Yeah. So we've got that coming. Hopefully you've heard about it. Hopefully you're planning to come in. It's all week, Monday through Sunday.
Hopefully you have a friend.
Yeah. Everything will be partners. And we'll have a good time from there. If you decide you want to sign up at the end of the week, we'll offer some sort of discount for your first month to get you in and get you going. And we'd love to have you come out and try the gym and hopefully sign up. So excited about that. We'll see how it goes this first time. We'll probably keep doing it on our deload weeks, which for us means in between strength cycles, to where we go to just a Metcon. and maybe some light skill work or some dumbbell accessory work. Like I think Monday is 100 sit-ups for time after the workout.
Oh,
I won't do that.
that sounds really fun.
Tuesday's like 5x2 Turkish get-ups.
Oh,
It's not
okay.
bad. Yeah.
So just,
you
some
can
new exposure.
Piper and I both agree.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, they're not my favorite things either. But I guess the other thing I was going to talk about real briefly was quarterfinals. What were your thoughts on them? You're not done.
I'm done.
Which I thought we were doing 5 together
I
after class.
Didn't know, and for the viewers at home, the thousands of you that watch this, yesterday we had a whole bunch of GHD sit-ups. My little boo bear over here, I don't want to say you got back problems, but I didn't think you wanted to do it because I was like, oh, his core is blowing out, like he's not going to want to do all those deadlifts.
I mean, it was riding on my mind. I was going to go lighter, but again, the whole point of me on quarterfinal workouts has been just staying ahead of you and giving you somebody to chase. So I wasn't worried about overscaling the deadlifts. I mean, I think I'm fine with not doing it. My shoulder is a little twingy from still missing that ring muscle up or catching it low. Well, I ended up doing bar muscle ups after that on Friday.
For the, you're talking
Just
about
for my
event.
gymnastic stuff.
Oh,
I just
for the
did
gymnastic
a
stuff.
bunch of gymnastic bar
Because
muscle ups.
you did the rings for event 1.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then I did chest to bar once they didn't go well. But my shoulder's a little tweaky.
Like, how do you said your guts didn't hurt?
They don't. My back's tight.
Yeah.
Deadlifts wouldn't be the best part, but honestly, I was more worried about the muscle ups and honestly rope climbs. I'm really good at rope climbs with the descent. If I don't just get that shoulder in and protect it really well,
you get to yank it on it.
Pops out because it happened on pegboard / a missed snatch / a cold wall facing
handstand
deficit handstand push up. So those are the 3 moves that have hurt it, and
There was a lot of those.
there's a lot of
this
those.
quarterfinals.
This quarterfinal.
I thought. So I think I actually like quarterfinals better than the Open this year. This is the first year I've done quarterfinals.
Yeah.
I honestly didn't know what to expect. I had fun. We'll say fun.
I think they're a lot more creative.
They're-
There's more you can do, kind of, with the quote-unquote better athlete
Yeah.
in a way.
There were a couple
That
things
makes
in there
sense.
that I was kind of.
Crossovers.
Well, you can throw more moves. You can use more
Yeah.
space because you got less people doing them.
Yeah.
Go a little heavier.
I thought 275 was a little insulting,
That was.
but also then you see who these workouts are written for,
Yeah. And
Right.
that was.
and you see their times, and you're like, okay, maybe this wasn't out of reach.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm
Well,
exactly where I should be.
and that was the one. So we did event 1. Event 1 was the what was that, the front squat?
Front squat, handstand walk.
Yeah, that's what it
front
was.
squat, ring muscle up. Front squat, wall facing handstand push-ups.
So that one, and I'm going to be 100% honest, I don't think I have ever done a wall-facing handstand push-up. And if I have, it's maybe been 1 or 2.
Yeah.
So I was worried about that going into it. Those actually went pretty well. I liked that workout.
Now I have to completely convince you that you're wrong because you did wall facing handstand push-ups in the open. Or no, they were just
regular
Oh,
handstand
okay. They were just
strict.
Which I honestly think the wall-facing was easier.
Yeah.
Someone said-
I've said it for a long time. I think wall facing.
Maybe it was you. I was like, someone said it, and I didn't want to admit that they were right, but I'll do it. I'll admit.
Since the games last year, well, and even before the games, I had done them as part of my gymnastics push-ups.
Yeah. Yeah, you've done a lot of them.
I've done a lot of them. I've always thought they were easier. Maybe it's the way I'm built. Maybe it's, I think the regular handstand push-up in CrossFit punishes you for having pointed toes,
Yeah.
which is what you have in gymnastics, which is what I strive for. And that's what, and like I said, I was doing them with you until the last set when I saw
Apparently, I don't point my toes.
that your heels are just crushing you
Yeah.
on the wall.
Rubbery toe marks
Yeah.
sliding up on down the wall. I just wanted extra resistance. They just weren't hard enough for me.
Yeah. So you point your toes and it goes. I think they're easier. I mean, getting in and out of them.
Do you cartwheel or wall walk?
I don't cartwheel because I can't control my cartwheel, so I do like a very like a 25% wall walk. Like I'm all the way up as much as I can against that wall. I don't have my hands out at like 15 inches. Like,
so
I'm close on the line.
I cartwheeled, and then I found out I can't cartwheel that close to the wall.
Yeah.
So I do a cartwheel into like a little shuffle onto the line.
With our new wall being flat, I'd like to try cartwheels again.
Oh, it's great, man.
But when I did it with our ridges, one, not being a good cartwheeler, and two, having the ridges in the wall
like
was,
slap yourself off the wall.
Yeah, it didn't work out very well. And now it's a little more dynamic than I want my shoulder to be in position for.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I probably would have tried them. Test one was good. Again, seeing you do it as written, seeing myself do it, but scaled a little bit, and then seeing the times
That was wild.
of CrossFitters.
Yeah. Well, even Cooper came in here and beat me by like 2 minutes.
Yeah.
Which on a 15-minute work, like 2 minutes doesn't sound like a lot, but on a workout like that is a major difference. But then there were people that were.
And you also know you do not have a good time squatting anyway.
No. I knew, like, going into this workout, my goal, I didn't really have a goal. I would like to have finished it, which I did, so that was cool. But I knew front squats are a pretty big hole, pretty big weakness. Handstand walks are not in short distances, but those 9 had me real
looked like
worried.
you got real slow.
Yeah, I was very deliberate about taking a ton of rest between reps, but event 1 was good. Event 2 was challenging. Event 3, no expectations going into that. My 1 rep was 275.
Yeah.
So I didn't even
3
know.
or 4 times.
Yeah, I think I got 4. I got 4 at 275. But I also got like 4 power cleans at 275, which I was like, hey, that's like, I was bummed because I would have loved to get to the round of 4. But like, end of the day, I was happy with it.
So, event 2 was another one I didn't do with Corey. That one was 12-minute AMRAP. It was 8 dumbbell snatch right arm, 8 overhead walking lunges right arm, 8 snatches left arm, 8 overhead lunges left arm, 40 crossovers.
The heavy dumbbell.
Yeah,
With a 70-pound dumbbell. I did it with 50, otherwise RX. Had I done it with Corey, I probably would have gone with like 40 heavy rope singles, because lunges and snatches are a good movement for you. That way I could have stayed ahead. I like that workout. I'm glad I did it with crossovers, because one, going with a heavier rope, which if you haven't seen some of the memes, they're hilarious, but and I'll go back to it. But heavier rope made it easier because it's a slow movement.
Yeah.
And the shoulder fatigue, like I went from a max set of 11. As soon as I went to a heavy rope, I got 26.
Crosses.
Yeah, on the crosses. And I was like, all right, this may go better. And it did until it didn't.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, I was super fatigued. My shoulders were blown up. And I was like, whoa.
As soon as you get a couple rounds in and your shoulders start feeling that burn, those crosses get real.
They get real crossed. And again, seeing people get 9 rounds.
That's insane. I like always made fun of people. Like, man, like the RX athletes that like couldn't do single unders.
Yeah.
I thought that was hilarious.
Yeah.
Because I can do single unders.
Yeah.
But trying to find that like slow
really
rhythm.
commit to it every time.
And that was the problem. Like, I could get it, but then as soon as my shoulders got tired, I would get lazy. So instead of getting here, I would end up trying to do one of these.
Yeah.
And it would be just enough to get past me, but it would like catch my shoulder or knee and then mess up my other one.
Yeah.
And those were very frustrating. I didn't see Cooper and them do it. From what I understand, Cooper got pretty frustrated with the crossovers. That was going into it. I knew like I've been putting off working on those because I'm not good at them. I hate them.
And that's, one thing, like a lot of people have crapped on Adrian about.
Can you
just
crossy?
I can do like 1 or 2.
Putting
Really do
new
them.
things in.
I'm like so tall.
And all this other
So
stuff.
frustrating.
And I love that he's put new stuff in. I was a little against the V up. I thought they had a really good standard.
The standard.
I thought they
good.
thought through it pretty well. And I liked it because V-ups are devastating.
They
So
suck.
when
They may honestly be harder than sit-ups, toes to bar, and GHDs.
So that like event 4, if you don't know, was a 20-minute AMRAP. It was a 1,000-meter row, 50 GHDs, 500-meter row, 25 V-ups.
Mm-hmm.
So when we were going into that workout, I was like, okay, like I'll grind through these GHDs and like the V-ups, I'll get a little rest on those before I get back on the row for that 1,000.
I did not have that ability.
I did not either when I did it. I got like 6 reps in on my first round, and I was like, these are terrible. The standards, they were good. They didn't leave a whole lot of room to, I guess, find like loopholes in. At least that I found.
And I'm sure somebody found a loophole someplace.
Right.
You didn't look silly doing them, right? Which is my argument with the wall walks.
Right, the belly flop.
The belly flop, which has gotten better as people have gotten used to them.
Or like the reverse running or whatever it is on any of the other movement. Like like I said, they thought through them. They were terrible.
Yeah, that workout was my least favorite.
That's
rough.
The one so like if you don't know, you have to do 2 quarterfinals workouts Friday, 2 Saturday, and 1 Sunday.
You don't have
well, you don't have to. So you have until Thursday?
You have Friday at 2 here to submit your first 2. Saturday at 2 p.m. to submit your next 2, and then 3 and 4, and then you have Sunday today at noon or at 2 to submit your last one.
So
you can do them in any order you want. You could do them all 5.
Yeah. You can do all 5 in a day, but like it's a lot all at the same time. But none of them really got me sore except for that one. Yeah. Like this is where like my shoulders are a little crunchy, but like which you said you don't feel. I think you need to do that workout again.
Well, so I cut my volume down
on camera right now.
I did 25 GHD and 15 V-ups. So I only ended with 80 crunches, core movement, whatever, whereas you had 150. So I'm at, half the volume there. I know, so I could stay ahead of you on the rower.
Which you did. But barely. Almost caught him.
Yeah.
God dang it.
You're an efficient rower.
That's the point of being the little rabbit that you chase.
It was nice.
You don't want the rabbit to be that far ahead of you.
And
there's a lot of things that aren't great about me, but my ability to scale to stay right ahead of somebody
great.
When they're trying to chase me, and I know Peter used to like that on some things.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because I take my ego out of it when I'm trying to push somebody else. Is I'm going to go just hard enough to be in front of them.
Right, to push
and
me
give them
to go
something.
Faster.
To one, so not saying that everybody's this type, but if you are the type that shuts down if you get too far behind, to avoid that person shutting down.
Yeah.
And to drive them and give them just enough carrot that they can catch me.
See, I didn't think because you said that was your plan. You told me hey, I'm gonna stay like right ahead of you. I'm gonna give you something to chase. And I was like, man, this isn't. I'm just going to do my own thing. I'm not even going to notice what he's doing. But I would see you.
You always notice.
Right.
Yeah.
On the squats, I saw you get to the rings right before me. And I was like, well, now I need to get to the ring. So, I told myself it wouldn't help, but it did. It was a big help. It is nice to have that.
Even unintentionally in workouts, it's always nice too, especially if
You're not counting anybody's reps, but you're seeing where they're at.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
but I enjoyed quarters.
The only other one I guess we didn't cover was 3. That was the 5 burpee box jump overs and the clean and jerk.
Yeah.
We talked about the heavyweight.
I think Peter finished it.
I liked it.
He was stronger than me.
I did it 185. Good workout.
See, this is apparently clean jerks are a weakness because I didn't get to that workout, but I really liked that workout.
Yeah.
If I could have moved the barbell, if it wasn't 100% of my 1 rep max, I would have really liked that. And I still liked it.
When we did that workout, it was you, me, and Julia. And I'm not slow at burpee box jump overs, but I was measured on the first round, and you all are 2 reps ahead of me out of 5, and I'm just like, what is happening?
I knew I was going to go slow on that bar.
But that would have made me even more measured because I think you had to you spiked your heart rate too much and then had to let it come down.
Yeah.
But it didn't save you any time.
That was the tie break time. Was the burpee box jump overs. And like I said, going into it, I didn't even know if I was going to get 1.
No, okay. Well, I get it if you didn't know if you were going to get 1.
And then
but then I'm the only one that finished the workout. And I went slow. If I saw you going to lift, I walked away from my bar. I didn't want to get in your peripheries. And so I was intentionally slower there. But yeah, when you guys came off the burpee box jump overs, I was like, are they
What is
doing?
And
I was just like, it's only 5 guys. Like, you're not going to make up a whole lot of time here, and you're just going to be tired before you hit the barbell.
No, it was just so all the burpees were the tie break time. So I didn't know if I was going to get through a rep. So I burned it on the burpees to get a good tie break, and then I did get a rep. So then I burned it again to get a good tie break, and then I got through 2, and then I burned it again, and then I didn't make it through 3. But again, still a win. I got 4 reps at my 1 rep, and then another 4 cleans, which I told Mel was the only thing that was frustrating, was that I missed so many opportunities. To get
I was surprised when you missed the jerk. I wasn't surprised when you caught it low and bailed. I was surprised when you missed the jerks that you did.
Yeah, I've been telling people for years my power clean's stronger than my squat clean.
Yeah, if I saw you catch it low, I was just like...
There was video proof that Corey got, I'm sure, of that being true.
Yeah. All right. I like quarterfinals. It's the first time I've ever even mock done them. It was a good time.
They were fun.
Age group's coming up next. If the workouts are different, I may try them just because that's my goal next year.
I would be willing to modify, stay in front of you.
You're going to have to go heavier. You're going to have to upscale all the workouts.
No.
So, all right, questions. So, how do we stay on track with nutrition? Well,
not going to be a whole lot going on here.
That's
not necessarily practicers of what we preach. Maybe outside of Corey.
What are you talking about? I'll say I do.
Yeah, Corey's
well.
pretty good about it.
So before we go into that, I want to talk about, and this is one reason why I always shied away from talking about nutrition with people, is because I'd say, I eat like crap. We may eat like crap compared to somebody we idolize as our peer or the next level, right? But for the majority of people listening to this,
you guys
we eat better probably than 99% of them.
So what's your secret?
My secret is I don't need variety.
You just like same thing.
Same thing.
Are you a picky eater?
I'm a picky eater.
Is yours a texture thing?
Yeah.
Or is it just
texture,
overall?
color, smell, from a traumatic throat surgery. But once I find something I like to eat, I don't need to ever deviate.
Yeah.
And so like my lunch, is rice with smoked chicken. I put ranch and barbecue sauce on it. If you're, trying to be super lean, probably shouldn't put those things on it. And a crap ton of salt, because we lose a lot of salt, especially when it's hot in here.
Oh yeah, especially summer coming up.
And that's my main. I eat that once or twice a day. Whatever my wife cooks for dinner is healthy enough based on the calories I burn. And just being honest.
Yeah.
Because what do you say average day? What are you burning? Because you do.
I mean, my Whoop is
all
gonna,
the tracks.
and my Whoop is going to tell me. And again, we know that these are not 100% accurate.
Like, I'll give you a baseline. I guess.
If you're going, my Whoop tells me I burn 2,500, and you are to the letter eating 2,400 calories, and you're like, or 2,300 calories, and you're like, I'm burning 2,500, and I'm eating 2,300. Why aren't I losing weight?
Could be off. There's deviation.
Your watch is probably off. Yeah. So we need to match that. And I'd also say, I've never found anybody that tracks all their hidden calories.
Oh yeah.
You're getting a lot more calories than you think you are in drinks or grazing. You've got to be a very disciplined person and not have that. So I think you need to build a wider margin of error. And then no matter what, like when the data comes in and said, you think the data is this, but your result is that, don't be so married to the fact that your data is right that you don't change something.
Right, like your body's not going to not drop weight if you're in a calorie deficit. So if your watch is saying one thing and you're tracking another, your body's not wrong. It's your data. It's whatever you're tracking.
And I'll also say, just because you're in a calorie deficit doesn't mean you're going to look better necessarily. If your macros aren't right, and that's where people say starvation mode, but your body starts storing everything it can. It doesn't store muscle.
Well, it's like I was telling
it builds muscle, and if you don't have enough calories, then it can't build muscle, so it's only storing fat.
And now you're losing.
And that's what we're talking about when we say starvation mode. We understand actual math principles.
Yeah. You got to find the sweet spot.
Yeah. So back to the question, Corey asked me how many calories do I burn? 25 to 2,700 according to the Whoop.
Yeah.
I'm supposed to eat around 3,000. I was good at being there for a little bit.
Turn off the 10-second timer.
Yeah, definitely need to turn that off. I was good at being there for a little while, and then the shoulder injury happened, and I went back to just intuitive eating. I'm not eating enough, which make me actually look better. Because when I was eating enough, then I wasn't working out enough. So I hope to get back in there, but for me to stay on track with nutrition, it's planning. It's allowing myself the things that I want when I want them. I know where they will fit. I know if I can have a bowl of ice cream. I know if I can have some sour candy. And even if I can't have them that day on my macros and I want them, I eat them.
Yeah.
I know that a bowl of ice cream is going to make me fat, but it may be I need it that day. And it's moderation. Everything in moderation, including moderation. So that's how I do it. I don't follow a rigid, super rigid plan or number. I let myself be myself, and that's the problem I face is not eating enough.
Yeah, because you don't eat, like, I've seen your lunches in there. They're not
huge.
Yeah.
And that's why I normally will eat 2 in a day.
Yeah.
I haven't really gotten on track with our new training schedule, but I used to eat one at like 10, and then I'd have another one at 2. And I haven't really gotten back on that. And then also, like I said, just because I haven't been working out, I haven't really wanted to eat as much. So I don't know. Y'all?
My big thing is like Joe's saying, like, not going crazy is huge. When you moderate what you're eating too much, you stop enjoying one of life's greatest pleasures, which is food. It's one of the things that keeps a lot of people going. And it tastes good, and it's bomb. It's like a reward for doing really cool things. Like after Monster Games, I went and got a fat burger with an egg on it, and I was like, period, I deserve this, because I just worked out for 3 days in a row. So it's...
Monster Games 3 days?
Yeah. So it was like I had fun. So it would just, eat the things that you want when you want it. Don't let your perceived goals from food moderation or control rule your mental health, because it will probably go down. I'm in college. It's hard with the time that I don't have to eat properly. I'm not home that much as is, but I try my best to be disciplined at the grocery store. It's everything outside of the grocery store that kind of messes up my nutrition. But I don't know. I do my best. I meal prep probably like 6 meals a week for days when I'm in class for 6 hours, and then I have to either come here or go to Who Hot. Come pop in and see me. I'm a waitress/host at Who Hot.
And get them to sponsor our podcast.
Sorry. She didn't say the name unless they give us money.
Yeah, $100.
So, but just general guidelines will help you feel better here, and the occasional McDonald's cheeseburger doesn't hurt your macros either. It's not the worst thing in the world for
Again,
you.
one salad doesn't make you thin.
Yeah.
One burger or bowl of ice cream doesn't make you fat.
Mm-hmm.
And I think at the end of the day, what you're going to see is just preparation and planning.
Yeah.
Is the key to staying track on nutrition. If you haven't packed a healthy snack, you may not eat it 6 days that you packed it. And on the 7th day, you take it out of your lunch, you're like, I never eat this thing. Guess what you're all of a sudden going to want? A snack. Now you're not prepared, and so you're going to call up or you're going to run to the gas station.
A bag of chips or whatever.
And again, I do that all the time. Like, I'll get to Friday, and I'm out of my chicken meals. Hello, Casey's Pizza. And while I'm there, they got donuts, right? And I'm already going in a weak and vulnerable state.
Right.
And now that at convenience, and I know how good a donut tastes.
Those cinnamon and churro ones are pretty
like,
on fire. He gave me one day.
I'm not the strongest person. It's also as easy as don't go to the grocery store hungry.
Yeah.
You don't have the same self-control. Make a list. Plan.
We try to stick to the list when we make it.
And again, set reasonable expectations for yourself with your nutrition. the longest journey starts with a single step. It doesn't start with a 500-mile sprint, right? So don't set your diet up to be a 500-mile sprint. Set it up to be a single step. Again, are you in this for life, or are you in this for spring break? And spring break's real close, but if you're coming in next week and you're like, I didn't want my spring break body, it's like, okay, well, go back to last year.
Go back at least 6 to 8 months ago, and we'll get started.
The spring break from Mizzou's and not this week, but the week after.
Yeah.
That's so that was, you kind of touched on what the biggest thing I wanted to go over is with like nutrition and diet and adherence to it. It's not necessarily the nutrition that people fail with, it's the behavior behind it. So for me, like the big thing is, even if you don't, so like obviously the goal would be like, you want moderation. But the big thing is like changing behavior. So for me, I used to be super insanely like rigid and strict on my diet, and I might last for like 2 weeks, and then I would absolutely binge eat, like to the point where I would get sick. Like I would eat like a dozen donuts, a jar of peanut butter, like all this in a setting. So before I really could get my nutrition on track, I had to change that behavior.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like you guys said, like if I am craving something, I'm not going to deprive myself of it, because I just know that's going to snowball into something worse. The thing I found that works best for me is during the week, I found like healthy recipes. So like it's like a bunch of like, you take scoop protein powder and then like some PB2 and then almond milk and a handful of chocolate chips.
Like ice cream?
Yeah, and you like mix it up, and it's like this protein brownie batter. Not the greatest thing, but it gets rid of that sweet tooth, and it holds me over. And then on the weekend, like if we want to go out and, I don't know, sometimes we go to Addison's with our parents, and I always get the big order of barbecue pork nachos. Not the less big, I get the big, and I finish it myself. And instead of, it used to be this really like, it'd be a downward
huge,
spiral.
actually.
It's massive. It's like a mountain, man, and I'll finish it all. And I used to just feel guilty for the rest of the day, and I was like, man, since I already did that, like I might as well eat these donuts, and I might as well do this. But now instead of that, I think, okay, I got all these nachos. This is going to be a good amount of calories for the week ahead of me of training. So switching that behavior and switching that thinking of like, instead of feeling bad about it, I think like, okay, now I have a good reason to train hard because I have all these extra calories. So biggest thing is just like changing that behavior.
And the only thing, and I know this isn't what you meant, but so it's very clear for people listening, we're not saying you have to earn your calories.
No, not at all. It's just,
we're talking about a certain mindset for us that helps us from letting a bad decision of eating a big thing of pork nachos become another bad decision.
Right.
And so it's a subtle but important difference. You do not need to earn your calories.
No.
You don't need to punish yourself because you had a piece of cake. We're saying the exact opposite. Don't punish yourself.
No, like,
find a way. I don't want to say to justify bad behaviors, because that gets into another slippery slope.
Find a way to enjoy life.
Yeah, but
without
just
feeling guilty about
exactly.
it.
Yeah.
Be okay. Know that your decision is fine. You don't need to justify it. Be okay with it. Just again, make sure that it's right. A bad decision a week is not necessarily a bad decision.
No.
It's something that fits your lifestyle that allows you to make good decisions the other 6 days of the week. A bad decision every meal or every day. Now we need to get into
now it's
some tough love,
Like
kind of aspect.
And you'll know, like,
and it may
everyone
be
knows.
it may be your carrot that on Saturday you get to order off the dessert menu. And I can't tell you what that is. I did the 4-hour body, and it was super restrictive Sunday through Friday. And Saturday it was like, gloves are off, do whatever you want. The first week we did that, we went crazy on Saturday. I mean, it was just epic. All the stuff we ordered, because it's like you're eating legumes and just nasty blah crap all during the week. And then Saturday you get to indulge. And we'd hit beers and get all. And Sunday was just like
It's like the rocks.
feel terrible.
you feel awful after eating clean for 6 days and then going dirty.
Oh, yeah.
It's bad. You realize how bad
You
the
felt.
food that you normally eat is for you. And then the next Saturday, we still went because we had another 6 days clean, and then the next Saturday went off the chain, but not as much.
A little less.
And then it
About
started to be, we didn't even want to do anything on Saturday.
Yeah.
And next thing I knew, I wasn't even trying to lose weight on this program. I was down like 15 pounds in 3 weeks, and I was like,
Damn.
oh God.
I gotta eat something.
I gotta eat some. I gotta go back to feeling bad until I can eat enough quality foods, because I'm not loving what I eat, and for me there wasn't a middle ground, and I need a middle ground, or otherwise I'm not gonna eat enough.
And that's like, end of the day, I think that's what we're all saying is like, have a middle ground,
Yeah.
but also like,
Be
no-
prepared to pivot off your middle ground when it's not getting you the results that you want, and constantly move that middle ground a little bit more towards your ideal thing. Start with the middle ground of where you're at, and maybe even more close to where you're at now, and start sliding it to where you want to be.
Just graduate.
Don't be here, want to be here,
well, it's the
and I need to go all the way
it's
there.
the 500-mile thing you're talking
Yeah.
about. Like you don't just go from 0 to 100. Like you make small steps.
Yep.
And the last thing is like, I notice when I switched, so like I used to drink soda all the time,
Oh God.
Diets and
and then we
zeros.
switched to I drink kombucha for a little bit, which
Yeah.
for
Not
me
bad.
it's more like the fizz that I wanted. And over time, like I hadn't had a soda, and then one day I stopped at the gas station and I was like, oh, I'm gonna grab a can of Coke.
And they're so bad.
And it was
They're so
awful.
sweet.
So over time, like if
Taste
you-
buds change also as you
they
get
do,
older and
they
stuff
do,
too.
man. Like if you're used to eating like McDonald's and like all this like fast takeout food, like it's got a ton of flavor, and when you switch to like chicken and rice, you're like, this is boring. But over time, when you go back,
You start to pick up the flavor. It's like your taste buds get to
do, man.
reset. It's
Because,
like
like-
smelling coffee in between colognes.
yeah, or like what's the ginger stuff that I made James take a whole
Oh.
mouthful of?
I don't know,
at the
wasabi
sushi
or whatever?
It's like pickled,
Pickled ginger. I
yeah.
love it. I eat it all the time.
So I made him mix
Oh,
pickled
gross.
ginger and wasabi and eat it. But
It's good.
Um,
End of the day, your body uses whatever you put in it, so don't feel bad about it.
yeah.
as long as you're using,
I think I came over hungover after like Taco Bell the night before. Classic. So I had some Doritos tacos. Bomb. And I think I
Sounds
came in
awful.
PR to lift. So at the end of the day, your body will figure it out.
Piper, you better quit name dropping brands without them giving
Yeah.
us money.
So we're gonna skip the next question real quick. We'll just go over this because I don't think it's gonna take that long.
No, it's not.
Favorite CrossFit athlete and why? Piper.
I've only been paying attention to the games for past couple years. So all of mine are recent athletes. Probably, I mean, most people are going to say this nowadays, but like Mal O'Brien is 2 months younger than I am.
Twinsies.
I know. Hashtag besties.
We will definitely not say she's too much younger than we are.
She's at least 6 months younger than us.
Or somewhere around that area. So she's probably my favorite because she's my age. It's cool seeing someone flourish in a field when they're younger. They obviously have, I mean, she's got almost nothing stopping her from like doing very well. So it's just impressive to watch what people say is the most dominant athletic period of your life, which is your teenage years, early 20s. So it's cool, and everybody kind of got to grow up with her through the CrossFit Teens, and then competing as a rookie last year, getting Rookie of the Year in second. Like, it's fun watching her flourish. So that's my answer.
Corey.
How about you?
I'm probably gonna say Annika Greer, and it really boils down to like, I knew of her before the whole open submission scandal.
Oh, yeah.
And she didn't submit her last workout, even though she had it time stamped, and they didn't let her compete. And it kind of put me in like protective dad mode. Like I felt like
Like it was up to you to
that I could help her.
Yeah.
And
Didn't you
then-
start a whole hashtag?
Yeah, and then it was free Annika Greer or whatever.
You get a T-shirt.
And she probably talks the most or responds.
She like responds to your stories and stuff, doesn't she?
Yeah, well, normally it's mostly like I'll respond to her and then she'll respond back to me, but like a lot of them don't really. And it's not like we're not besties or anything like that. Like it's maybe a
You hear that,
conversation,
Annika? I know you're watching. 'cause you
a
and Joe are
conversation
like this.
every like 3 months. But she's kind of she's 19, but she's also like she likes old school, like classic rock and like hard rock stuff, which was kind of fun.
Drop kick your cat off a bridge.
Yeah, so her playlist, drop kick your cat off a bridge.
Many a workouts
we love
to that.
And listen to. It's kind of just like, you know, she's a tiny little blonde girl, but then she rocks out to like death metal. It's like
It's kind of fun.
What's the Korean girl band that?
Oh, baby metal.
Yeah, it's like baby metal. It's like it just doesn't fit into a box.
Yeah.
And so I kind of like that. You know, she posted a story yesterday. She's like, "Hey guys, don't freak out. I submitted all my quarterfinal workouts." And she like gave the screenshot with the scores blocked out.
Oh man.
So that was kind of funny. I like Emma Lawson. I'm excited for like Paige Powers, Emma Carey. See these new girls that kind of challenge. There's a new girl that follows Underdog, like Ava George, and
It's cool seeing young women.
she's up there. And so for the most part, I follow like Underdog athletes, some of the Mayhem athletes, but Mayhem's got that new guy coming up, Tyler Christoffel or something like that. I think that's his name, but he did really well in the Open. He's doing well in quarterfinals. So I'm kind of just interested to see just like the newer names come up, but I don't really follow any of them.
Yeah.
I don't think I follow any of them.
I don't keep track of their scores or their workouts unless I probably really only follow them to see if they post a workout that I want to repeat at my level.
I say I follow like programming accounts, like Underdog.
Yeah, I'll follow programming accounts, or like I said, some of the athletes will post the workouts that they've done. It's kind of every once in a while it's cool to get a look into their life, but most of the time it's just paid ads where they're selling something.
Yeah.
And so I really don't even follow many of them anymore because it's like, cool, you're telling me to buy ESC sounds again. Like, I'm not gonna buy them.
Not gonna do it.
So yeah, you.
Man, I don't really follow any
Corey's
of them.
not with the times.
I'm not with the times at all. Like I said, I do remember like Josh Bridges back in the day.
Yeah.
And his delightfully, and now I know he's gonna watch this and be upset when I say delightfully terrible mustache. I think all mustaches are terrible, but some of them are just
You
like.
said you like mine.
But yours is so bad, it's good. That's so like it's like when you see a dog and you're like, oh, it's so.
Corey just got fired, by the way.
Yeah, if anyone needs a coach, let me know. But I like those old school, the old guys. I mean, they are old, I guess. The older CrossFit athletes, like I used to follow a little bit more. I like Pat Vellner because he just seems like, I think we talked about it.
Yeah, we
Canadian.
did talk about it. I forgot about that.
And then I like Jason Khalipa, which he's an older athlete, an old school athlete, just because of the story that Chris Hinshaw told me about.
Oh, him running?
Yeah, where they took him out to the track and he full sent the first lap and then was like, what do I do? And he was like, I guess keep running. So yeah, I don't have a really good answer for that. But it has been neat to watch these younger girls that grew up in the sport, just how dominant they're going to be, man. Like,
yeah. I think I would separate, like, watching CrossFit athletes is like, I love to watch the tip of the spear. And it doesn't matter in any sport.
Yeah.
I want to see the greatest, the women's basketball player for Iowa right now. I can't think of her name right now, but she's just captivating. She's destroying people. It's the other team's entire game plan
to just shut her down.
Shut her down, and it's not working. She's that amazing, and so I really, really love watching people be dominant.
Yeah.
Whether it's for 2 games, whether it's for 2 seasons. So I like that, but then when we start talking about into sustainability, it's about being an actual person, like being authentic, being a character, being flawed. And I think some of the top athletes don't really let that get exposed, and I don't know if they're really that egotistical, or if they do that because they can't allow a chink. Because if they allow a vulnerability, then maybe the whole thing starts coming unraveled, and maybe that's the secret to actually being and I don't know. I've never been at the top of my field in anything.
No. I think that just being genuine like that, like you said, showing the flaws, showing them like missing lifts and having bad days, I would notice
and
that.
especially the emotional struggles. And I think this is probably why I identify with the women so much, is because they open up about the pressures to perform, or the expectations that people throw on them, or the hate that a lot of, I would say guys, but women as well, is like, stop looking like a man. And it's like,
Stop being
looking like a
with it.
man doesn't have anything to do with you. You're insecure and you're projecting on me, and I think women get the brunt of that more so than men. And I think, for whatever reason, I'm more open and vulnerable, and so I identify with that more than I do the men that I think are just a little too.
I think they take themselves too seriously.
Yeah.
That's why I like Pat Bellner, because he's kind of
Yeah,
a dork.
and that's where I was leading it to, is
he's kind of a dork.
yeah, he just seems like somebody I could go and
hang out
chill
with.
and talk with, and it wouldn't all be about, oh dude, did you see my lift?
Yeah.
Sure, man.
Or like,
So-
I'm actually 0.5% better than people in this aspect because I do this every night.
Yeah.
And you're like, all right.
I'd say somebody like Cooper, right? Like, he's really good, but he's also he's not all about the sport.
No, he's a fun
He
guy
goes
to
and
talk
hunting.
to.
He talks. He has fun.
Yeah.
And I don't want to say those top athletes aren't like that on the men's side.
I
just don't see it
Right.
as much and as easy as I see it from the ladies.
So when I go to the games, I'm gonna take note of this, and I'm gonna make sure I kind of give you
get
guys,
real vulnerable.
Yeah, I'm gonna get
because
vulnerable.
your social media space is packed with your diary.
Yeah, I like to make posts for my people.
Yeah. All right. Well, we got 9 o'clock class running and walking in, and we took way too long.
Way too long. But hey, we answered 2 questions.
Hey, kind of. Woo, go us. Like and subscribe.
Oh, I have to